money and resolution or ordinance, and we'll move right into miscellaneous business. Mr. Hoffman, anything this evening?
No business this evening.
No business this evening. He's had football practice and he's tired, huh?
Yeah.
Mr. Thackeray?
I have nothing.
Mrs. Smith?
Nothing.
Mr. Paul?
Three very short items. Mr. Mayor, I was contacted today from a constituent about when Halloween is. Do we know when Halloween is this year?
31st.
The 31st.
That's when Halloween is.
Well, what are we doing trick or treat? Let me rephrase the question.
I believe it's Saturday, the 31st.
Okay, great. Thank you. You're going to cover the hoopla parade and the chili cook-off, right? I think you had a poster.
Yeah.
So I won't even do that, then I'll take that off the list.
Well, you can do the hoopla parade.
Well, okay.
Since you're in charge.
Since I am mostly in charge. If anyone would like to participate, we'd love to have more participation in the hoopla parade this year. Send an email to urbanahoopla@gmail.com. I have some voicemails that I'm behind on. I apologize, as well as some emails I'm behind on, so be patient. I'll get to you this week, let you know that you're registered. So that is it for the hoopla for me. The last time I had, Doug, thank you for following up. The Kenton garage, the burned out garage is gone. It's very nice back there. It's a little dirt patch, but it's nice and flat. I haven't had anybody call with issues over there, so great job. Appreciate the follow-up. It's done. Yes, absolutely. Moving on. That is all. Thank you.
Mr. Evans?
Well, this past Sunday, I left Urbana and went to Minnesota and came home and got home about 11:30 at night and was driving down Amherst Drive, and I noticed that it wasn't rough. They got it paved. Looks great. Thank you. That's a indication of, or a demonstration of the city at work and the plans and everything that goes into a project like that, and all the hard work, and this is their finished project. I just hope we wait a month or so before we start digging in it. I will report, though, that we might contact back with the contractor because there are a lot of the patches that there's no grass growing. So we need to revisit that. And I think that it's not something that they did wrong. A lot of that stuff was put in there the day before the big rainstorm that we had, and I think a lot of that grass seed and stuff just got washed out of those areas. Okay, now, I was going to work this morning on my beautiful Amherst Drive, a nice little road, but then I came to Water Street, another project that we worked on for a long time. Shouldn't we be on Tyler, shouldn't we be on that street filling some of those cracks, because it's coming apart there, to keep that thing from...
Yeah, we're getting to it Thursday.
Good job. Because right in the middle, it's starting to separate.
Yeah, it might be tomorrow even.
Okay.
Say what he said, because I don't know that people could hear him at home.
Okay. He said that they're going to fill those cracks on Water Street tomorrow or the next day.
Yes.
Now, a guy got me right after I got back from vacation, Mr. Bruder, and he explained to me that someone sneaked the tow truck right in front of and he wasn't looking, and it's still sitting there. And he wanted to know if they're going to leave it there or are they going to move it. The lift.
Okay, the lift truck.
Yeah.
I'll follow up with that. I know they've been doing some work on the marquee off and on over the last few days, so see where they're at with that.
Well, he just told me that if he parked there all that time, he'd get a parking ticket. And
if he left me his name and had a lift, I'd probably see if I could make it rain for him.
Okay. And then I want to thank everybody who wished me happy birthday. It was, although I was out of town, it's always good to get home. It's always good to get home. Believe me.
Like Dorothy says.
Yeah. Most of the towns that I went through, they ain't got nothing on us. I'm telling you, there's some shabby looking places. No offense to Minnesota, but you got your problems too. That's all.
Mr. Fields?
Nothing.
Nothing? Tyler?
Yeah.
Anything else? Go ahead, Doug.
Said I would have something. Actually, I have a couple community things. One is the Simon Kenton Pathfinders are hosting their 16th annual fundraising bike ride. It's on Sunday, September 13th. Registration, you can register that morning down at the depot between 8 and 10 if you'd like to ride that day. Registration's $20. There's a form that gets filled out, and like I said, you can register that day. This year's ride is in memorial of Rita Larson, and all the proceeds go back into maintaining the trail system. The other item I had was the Shade Tree Commission recently launched a memorial tree program. There's information on the city website at urbanaohio.com. There's a link from the news page. Basically, the hope is that we can have folks donate funds to plant memorial or honorary trees, either in the park or at the cemetery. And we had a nice article on the Citizen yesterday, and got a call today from the Springfield News-Sun, and they're also doing a story. So we're trying to get the word out. Have received a couple applications so far. But again, registration form's online, and I'm the city's contact for the program as well. So that's all I have.
What's the best tree?
The best tree? I think on Oakdale, hence the name Oakdale. I think we need to put a focus on putting more oak trees back into Oakdale. We're losing a lot of the old oak trees on the south end of the cemetery. If you drive through that area, we took one down a couple years ago, and if you look at, there's probably 5 or 6 or 7 of them in there that are probably 150 years old that they're declining. So unfortunately, because we haven't planted as many oaks and as frequently and at staggered times, when we lose all those, we're going to lose them all and take a while to catch up.
So Doug, what you're saying is you can buy a tree and have it planted with like a placard?
A plaque, correct. So the idea is either at the park or at the cemetery. The cemetery is going to be a bit of a challenge as far as where the location may be. We may not be able to put it near the grave. Just depends on how the lots are sold and that type of thing. But there are gaps at the cemetery, maybe close to a grave or within view side of a grave, where we might be able to plant a tree. So
if I wanted to put an oak tree out there in memory of my mother, what would it cost me?
it's $350.
Okay.
It includes the plaque, and we also build in at least a 3-year guarantee, and the goal is that if for some reason we lose a tree, we have the money to purchase a replacement, at least once. That's all.
That's it?
Yep.
Do you have a plan for where to plant the trees in the new part of the cemetery?
We planted there for a few years, quite a bit, and we've been putting a few trees here and there and continue to plant. So I don't know how many more gaps we have in the field, but we've made a dent at it. It's just a matter of some of those getting some size to them, which some of them are starting to take. So we did plant, I think, 2 out in the field this spring as part of that bare root tree planting. So
Okay.
just got to keep planting. So.
Good plan. Chief, anything else for us? You shouldn't have sat next to Doug.
I know. I just want to let you know that I will be inviting again this year council members and administration to take a ride with me over to the Fire Academy. We have 2 graduates right here, and they'll probably be working for us here pretty soon, but
Full time.
I wanted to make sure that I told you that I'm going to be sending invites out to you, so that if you want to go over there to see what we do, any of you are more than welcome to do that. So, but I'll need to start getting information here soon so that I can get that registration done and turned into the state.
Okay. What's the date?
October 24th. To Saturday. Pretty much all day.
We'll have to
Best
shave.
days you're ever
We'll
gonna
have to
have,
shave from
trust
my
me.
respirator.
You don't have to. but-
Okay.
You drive?
No, I'll drive.
The best thing is he drives you back. I'll probably get over there, but you might not want to drive back.
Well, I just wonder if there's, of course, there's plenty of medics around.
Oh, yeah.
In case someone has a problem, huh? Okay.
And it's way up there on top of that.
I would imagine.
Way up there. Takes a long time to get up there. Like that to come down. Thanks, Chief. We'll twist somebody's arm to go. There was nothing to it, honest. I mean, snacks all day long.
Well, you
naps.
got
I'm in.
Mr. Long Road here.
Oh, yeah, I'm in.
He could probably carry you up there.
Somebody almost had.
Maybe me.
Whoa, slow down.
You'll be getting your invitations, and do feel free to go. Anything for the law director this evening?
Just briefly, I'd encourage everyone to have a safe and sober holiday weekend. The Urbana Police Division is participating in the nationwide Drive Sober, Get Pulled Over campaign, and I did a review of our historical caseloads for municipal court, and our OVI totals are down, which is a good thing. One thing that is concerning, though, is we do have several habitual offenders in Champaign County on the list. We just had one case came in this week. So, I definitely do not want to see people in court, even though Labor Day weekend is generally when we do see an uptick in OVI arrests and accidents that require fire division involvement. So I'd encourage everyone to be safe out there, and if you see something that is of concern to you while you're out there, out and about on the holiday weekend, let law enforcement know.
Thank you. Finances.
Budget sheets went out last week to department heads. They have until September 14th to get them turned into me, and we're going to have our initial one-on-one meeting, and then I'll be inviting city council to come and meet with your departments to go through those budgets.
I assume council wants to do the same one they did last year. If you want to switch, now would be the time to give them all to Tony, because he's not here.
Why don't someone just randomly switch them so we get to see different budgets?
Which is a good idea.
I mean,
That's
just
not a
Why
random.
don't you just find out who was on last year and roll them around?
Mix them up.
And
We'll do that.
contact them and tell them who they have. Can you do that for us?
Yep.
Thank you, Chris. And if you want to sit in on the other ones, that's the ones you had last year, you're more than welcome to, but that way everybody gets a chance to see what everything's going on. Anything else?
That's all.
Mr. Administrator.
Just about three things here. First of all, a work session, it would be scheduled for the 22nd, if everyone's inclined to have that. Looking for some topics, there's been a couple of things I'm sure will be ongoing discussion points, but if you have anything you'd like to add, you may start thinking about that. September 22nd would be the fourth Tuesday. That'd be our work session. Just a quick update on the school progress. Last week, Tyler, Bob, Chad, I think who all was there, fire department, Assistant Chief Asper, met with representatives, engineers, and representatives from Fanning and Howie, talking about utilities for the school project out off the community drive. Spent a couple hours upstairs just going through what might happen, where they'd like to see things, what capacities are, what the flows are, and that type of thing. So trying to get some preliminary work done on that. We are scheduled to meet next Wednesday, I think it's 9/9. I sent an email out today trying to find out for sure, if there's an agenda. We kind of know we're going to be talking about utilities again and some more infrastructure items. But at this point, we're waiting for that to be finalized. So we'll be meeting next Wednesday afternoon with a larger group, trying to work through some more of the detail around the infrastructure. And last Friday, the district submitted an application for conditional use for the property out off Community Drive, and submitted their preliminary, I guess, I don't want to say it's a plat plan, but it's an outline of layout of how things are going to be proposed, and just the general application and some detail. So there should be a BZA schedule, I believe, September 14th. I think that'll be on the agenda for that night to address that request. So we'll have more information at the next meeting, obviously, but that's kind of where we're at on this point. We anticipate probably the end of the month or very early in October, we will have a site plan ready to submit or to present to the city. So we don't know for sure what the timeline is. I'm sure we'll have more information on Wednesday, but that's the process that we're moving through at this point. The application for the conditional use had an indication of Community Drive being extended and Boyd Street being extended. So that's the direction that the school is moving forward with on the initial application for conditional use for that property. So just wanted to give you that information, and we'll have continued discussions, I think, as we move forward.
Let him finish.
Are you done?
I may have thought I had on the school stuff. I was just give you what I could give you at this point. That's what we know.
All your miscellaneous business, Mr. Gruder.
I'm sorry?
You get to continue with your miscellaneous business.
I can keep going down miscellaneous
Go on
business.
down.
The last item, I just wanted to thank you for the 3 items we had tonight for suspension of the rules and passages. I know we tried very hard not to bring things to you at the last minute. 2 of the 3 obviously were scheduled that we had to meet for deadlines, and I appreciate your understanding on that. Probably maybe a question for the law director would be to maybe better understand 3 reading rule for application. If it's more of a non-event, I mean, why should we need 3 readings to apply for something unless it's a big ticket item or something, where we're going after, but just to participate in a program may be an interesting discussion, but that's another discussion point. But again, I thank you for your support, and I'm sure this will be a busy next 2 or 3 days trying to work through the Q3 process and get it, hopefully by the end of the week we'll have a little better picture of where things are headed. So appreciate your support on those. That's all I have.
Got a question, Mr. Evans?
Well, I just had a question about the process with the school project. I understand their position about being an entity of their own and where we are. And I think a lot of times when we get into the discussions, like talking about Boyd Street, that we forget about the citizens that live over there. Are the citizens that are going to be impacted by this extension of Boyd Street going to have an opportunity to go to some venue and express their concerns about the additional traffic and whatnot on their street? Is there going to be public hearings?
BZA makes notice to the neighbors, yes.
So they would be able to come in at the BZA meeting and speak to, about the additional traffic and that type of stuff.
Right.
And that's just not going to, and the school understands that, correct? I mean,
Right.
Do they? Okay, so those folks will have a chance to speak their piece. Okay.
As long as they come.
For clarification, BZA notice is 200 feet from the site. That's what our ordinance says. So we were working on the mailing list today, and there are some addresses that are essentially 200 feet from the actual physical site will receive the notice in the mail, and then there'll also be a legal ad in an upcoming edition of the newspaper.
So basically,
as well as posting here in the city.
So basically, if the traffic impacts someone at the corner of Dorothy Moore and Boyce, they're not 250 feet from the site.
Probably not getting a direct letter, but I would anticipate through the Urbana Daily Citizen notification and neighbors talking to neighbors, that word will spread.
Those folks over there are up in arms when we want to do something at the park. I can't imagine that they're going to sit there and be quiet about school buses running up and down in front of their property and stuff. So, I mean, they already do, but not to the extent that they will be.
Right.
So, okay. I just wanted to make sure that they will have an opportunity to speak if they want.
Right.
You also have the opportunity to go to school board meetings,
Exactly.
which wouldn't hurt either. Mayor, miscellaneous business.
9/11's coming up. They're going to call it Patriots Day out there. Reveille at Freedom Grove is going to be at 8 a.m. and the national anthem. The first moment of silence will start at 8:46 when the first tower was hit. And periodically they'll go through that morning and have their moment of silence every time a plane hit the other towers and the Pentagon. They're looking forward to have a lot of people there. I've been there now, probably this is my 6th year, and it's a sobering moment. And I would recommend it if you can, make it there, and talk to the first responders that will be there and the military that'll be there. It's a nice event. But they're going to try to, it's really say thank you to the first responders and the military and the fallen soldiers. So this is what they're going to be focusing on that day. But they still will remember what happened on 9/11. Also, back to Dwight's, we've got chili cook-offs coming, and it's a total of $2,000, $1,000 to the winner of the best chili. Also, there's going to be a cornhole tournament. There's a best salsa tournament, or contest, I should say, and we're adding a dunk tank. And believe it or not, I think we've got Bob Corbett is going to be on the duck tank. Al. So if you feel inclined, you know.
Well, I guess if I can dunk somebody else.
But anyway, you can, if you get on www.chilicookoffurbana.com, there's applications for vendors and cookers, so you can go on that and get it, or you can call Dwight for the parade, me for the chili cook-off. So it's a fun time, and everybody hopefully will have good weather again. So I think Ohio State is playing Western Michigan, and it's still to be announced, so we really don't know when Ohio State's going to be playing. But anyway, you're all welcome. Try to get out there, and that's on September the 26th. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you, Mayor. I had a couple things tonight. I had a citizen come to me and ask if there's any possible way to put solar lights on the signs to the entrance of the city. You know where they are? I've seen them on flagpoles, and he said, you know, if they were donated, could somebody put them up? If they're not donated, because he said, I mean, at night it might be nice to have some sort of light shining on those Welcome to Urbana signs, so I said I'd bring it in and tell him. That's all I can do. Another gentleman asked about the sign at the Armory. Is that something we can utilize better? All it has now on there, I think, is the time. Maybe events coming into the city as you come in. Is that ours? Is it High Points? Go ahead.
Not High Points, it's
Not
ours.
High Points, I knew you would say that.
There's only a piece of that scrolls, and I think it's just the date and time, but the rest of it is blanked out because it's a static sign, or we were hoping by now we'd have a new tent, but that's not.
Can we have space available on that sign possibly?
Well, we'd have to look at that, I guess. But I
wonder if we could better utilize that sign.
Noted, Mr.
Okay, thank you. I spoke earlier about the employee luncheon coming up on September 25th, and we're going to contribute to that. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, get with Amy and she'll explain it to you. For the first time in a long, long time, I'm going to put some pressure on Dwight. I'm going to be gone on October 6th, and I'm giving him plenty of notice. At the first meeting in October, I will not be here. Lucky you. You get to sit here and see what it's like, and
Oh, boy.
swing the gavel and do whatever you want. On the school, I get a lot of people asking me for updates, what's going on, and why hasn't it happened, and whose fault is it. Little FYI, add on to what Kerry said, last Monday, I was contacted a week before that by the superintendent to have a meeting with the mayor and I. We spoke with the superintendent and the business affairs manager, and we extended our hand to see what we could do to help them get this project underway and going, primarily in the Washington Avenue access point, to see what we could do to get that in there. They were very receptive of that on Monday, excited to have us offer to do that. We don't know how, but we said we don't know how to do it, but we'd like to look into it to see if we could use that, because the city administration, everybody thinks that might be a better way to get in and out. Monday, it was a good idea. Tuesday, we came to the work session and explained it to council about what had happened. They're excited about it, and everybody's going to be thinking of ways to get this done. And I guess Wednesday, you had a meeting with them, and they changed their minds and decided to use Boy Street. So, am I right or wrong?
I made contact, we had a conversation Wednesday morning with Mr. Thiel and shared our request and our comments from Tuesday night. Then we met again on Thursday briefly and kind of reiterated that request. And, you know, again, at that point, he wasn't in a position to comment in terms of commit. You know, we still had to work through their channels. And then the application we received for the conditional use showed the Boyd Street extension. So if something changes between now and in the future, it may. But right now, we don't have anything to indicate that they're going to look at Washington Avenue.
But we did try to extend our hand to see if we could get that worked out to make it happen. But like Kerry said, they've offered Boy Street as their way to come in. So anyway, you have an absent council member if you'd like to excuse him.
I make a motion that we excuse Councilman Tony Pena.
Second.
Any discussion on where he is? All those in favor of excusing Councilman Pena signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That was all I had. Mr. Fields.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
It is so punished.